Um, tumesafiri kutokea Dar es Salaam kuja Mwanza kwa ajili ya maandalizi yetu ya mchezo wetu dhidi ya Geita Gold ambao utachezwa katika dimba la Nyankumbu pale Geita, lakini leo nitafanya interview ya kwanza na mwalimu wa klabu yetu Ahmed Mwalimu kwa mara ya kwanza. Hii ni exclusive interview na mwalimu, na tutaanza na maswali kadhaa. Mwalimu ataelezea namna ambavyo timu imejiandaa na vitu kadhaa. Coach, how are you?
Good, Khalid.
Are you good?
I've been waiting for this shout for the interview.
Oh, nice. Coach, I have some of questions I want to hear from you. I want to hear your answers. I want to know your comment about the African football in general. Can you
African football
in general, your comment, development of the African football?
I think there's been a lot of improvements in African football, and then in the continental level, in the international level. Obviously, we've seen what Morocco did in the last World Cup, and I think that was a good example of how far African football has come in terms of competing with European or Asian or American football. I think in the club level, to be honest, I've been following a lot of the big clubs in Africa. Obviously Simba and Yanga are here in our backyard, but Mamelodi Sundowns, is one of the teams that I look at a lot in terms of how they play the game. For me, in my opinion, I think the game should be played in a certain way, and I think I believe so much in their philosophy. Coach Rulani is obviously a young coach, and I think he's a pioneer in terms of the approach of the game. And Africans should be able to play football like this, and I believe that even in Tanzania now, looking at the transformation that's happening with young Africans, I think that will help a lot of the teams in Tanzania to understand that hey, it's possible to play like this and still manage to get results, because our players are very intelligent, and if you put them in certain situations on the pitch, they can actually do it technically, and tactically, and mentally.
Oh, nice. Who is the best coach for you between Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp?
Oh, I think both are good in their own ways.
Choose one. Please choose one, coach. And why?
For me, I like Jurgen Klopp.
Jurgen Klopp, why?
I think because of the connection he has with not only from playing style, but the connection he has with his players. You can tell there's really a genuine connection between him and his players. Obviously, Guardiola has this as well.
Okay.
And there's a lot of similarity between how I like to play the game and how. Obviously, I've learned from Spanish coaches, and I was mentored by Spanish coaches. So a lot of my ideas are from Spanish coaches. But I've been to Germany also, or German methodology also, and so I like Jurgen Klopp.
Okay. How do you keep your team motivated after a loss?
It's $1 million question. It's difficult, but you know what? The one thing I tell my players is that if you don't lose, you'll never learn. If you don't fail, you don't learn. In life, failure is the best teacher. So sometimes you need to fail in order for you to become stronger and to continue to move forward. So I tell them that we learn from the defeats and we move on, and we take the lessons, the bitter lessons, and remember the feeling that defeat leaves, that taste that the defeat leaves, and then continue to use that as motivation to avoid it.
Okay. In Africa, there are many teams, big club like Ahal, Mamelodi Sundowns, Wydad Casablanca, Raja Casablanca. Which team attracts you more on the field?
Sundowns.
Sundowns. Why?
Sundowns. I think they play the most attractive football in Africa. These guys are getting the attention of not only African teams and African football, but global. From what they're doing as a club, the way they approach the game, their footballing philosophy.
Okay.
For me, the best team right now in Africa, I think they should have won the last year's Champions League. Unfortunately, because of the away goal rule and the changes that happened, they were unfortunate. But for me, the best team right now.
Okay, the last question for you, coach. Where did you see the KMC at the end of the season? Have you seen the title ways, or?
For us, realistically, we have to be, for me, to avoid what happened last season.
Wow, okay, nice.
You know, to avoid what happened last season, to put the team in a strong position to compete. I don't like to put in goals like let's win the title, let's finish top 4. No.
Okay.
For me, I want to see how competitive we can be.
Okay.
And I think right now the players are understanding that we take it one game at a time.
Okay.
So for us, at the end of the season, we want to be the most competitive team that we can be.
Okay,
And then whatever happens, happens.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
Khalid.
Khalid.
Thank you.
Thank you. Finish.
Alhamdulillah.